Removing and servicing the deck of a Husqvarna LTH 1542 lawnmower. William Hovey Smith, 2021. I'm going to have to drop the deck, and while I have the deck off, I'm going to go ahead and replace the blades, which, as you will see, are now well worn. And here's a view of the lower deck. You'll notice it says heavy duty 12 gauge deck. Well, it is. I'd say that deck weighs, something probably 75 pounds or so. And it is secured by rods and cotter keys on the front. You can see behind the front wheel there is a fastening with a rod with a cotter key through it, and it has a matching one. The rear end is attached in 3 different places, and that's a little more difficult to see, but we're going to, of course, take all of that off. The easiest way to drop the front end of the mower deck here is to remove this cotter key from this rod. It's also attached further up closer to the axle, but you don't really need to do anything with that. All you need to do is pull that rod and this key and put it in some small parts container so you keep up with all these little pieces. As you can see, the underside on the left-hand side is partially supported by this arm here, and obviously this nut needs to be tightened, so we need to remove this cotter key and drop this bar. On the other side of the lawnmower, you have a cotter key that you can see here above that wheel. There's one of the drive wheels for the mower deck, and that cotter key needs to come out. That connects to the linkage that drops or raises your mower deck. Removing that cotter key and removing the bar connected to the deck operating lever allowed me to remove the 2x4 from underneath this side, and so this side of the deck is now disconnected and off to the ground, except for the drive pulley for the mower deck itself. We may have one more retention point on this side of the deck, but when I remove that 4x4, we'll quickly find out. I believe we may be free except for the drive belt itself. Now that the deck is altogether down, you can see that we have one more connecting link and cotter key here. So this has to come, and then we should be able to remove the drive belt. Needs a little persuasion. Okay, now that's free. And the entire deck can move forward a little bit, enough to remove the mower deck drive belt from the front drive pulley. We have the pulley disconnected now, and so we can gingerly pull this assembly out from underneath. Now go ahead and raise that arm up to its full position to 6. So you pull those bars up as tight as possible against the chassis. That way they're less likely to hang up. I'm an author mostly of outdoor titles, but I do have some significant business books. My latest is Make Your Own Job Anytime, Anywhere, at Any Age. In this book, available in both softcover and as an audio book, I show how you generate your own job ideas and act on them as appropriate to do whatever you need to do. My newest book is a novel, Until Death Do You Part, that will shortly be out as an audio book and then released as a softcover and ebook. Okay, the little tiny spring assembly there. All right, that's out. I now have the mower deck out. I want to check and make sure all these pulleys are free. Apparently they are. And all those bearings are in good shape. These bolts are notorious for being tough. So we're going to put some WD-40 on them, and hopefully that may help a little bit. Removing that nut has proved to be a challenge. So what I am doing is I am cutting away that washer with the angle grinder so that that will give me more purchase on that nut, and also hopefully I'll be able to break it free from the washer. Okay, that's where we want it. I believe we are moving it. Yes, we are. Voila. One bolt extracted, finally. I've scribed the approximate cut point here. Now this I'll be able to see, and we'll cut to this point on this edge and then grind this bevel here. Horsing the mower deck around, I noticed a problem that I really had not seen before. In that part of it right there is almost parted. Apparently something got in it and burned it. So yeah, nothing to do for it, but I'm going to have to get me another drive belt. With the belt partially attached to the pulleys, it's now time to scoot it underneath the lawnmower and orient it properly. The wheels, of course, go to the rear, and there are two holding brackets on the front that you will see that will be connected by arms to the front end. I now have the belts reattached. You'll notice on top of the mower deck here, they do give a diagram that shows how the belt should go. Now it's significant, in case it happens to be rubbed off, that it does go along the back of the two main drive pulleys. And I'll show you that underneath. You can see here the pulley where I have my hand, and when you pull the belt when it's on, you should be able to pull it smoothly through like this. Okay, so this goes from this side of the pulley to the back of the other, around the wheel, up to the front, the main drive, back along the idler wheel, and then winds up on the opposite side. Now we also have some other pieces here, and now we're going to actually attach a piece here, and that will raise the back of the deck and connect the parts that actually allow you to control the height of the cut. We've now dropped the height control arm all the way down to the bottom position, and you can see this pin right there, and that has to connect through the appropriate hole. And once that's done, a cotter key, and we have those parts connected. We're now approaching the final stages of assembly. I had to disconnect these rods here in order to get the attachments on the rear of the deck in, to get those pins in and the cotter keys in. And now I have to reattach this. But you have some adjustment here. So unscrewing this in this direction will allow the rod to go a little further back and actually grab in the holes. Then after that is done, you re-tighten up the assembly. We've now tightened up that joint, and we've also raised the mower deck itself approximately 3/8 of an inch off the concrete. So that part's doing good, and one more to go. Well, we have both the drive belt and the mower belt replaced. So her ought to be doing fine. We'll start. Well, we're going to go and feed it. And that's the end result, which is about as good as you're going to get on St. Augustine grass and a bunch of bahia and weeds. Yep. But now this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe. Goodbye, God bless, and see you next time. In a previous video, I showed how I had to jack up the mower to replace the tractor's drive belt, and another on how I sharpened and reshaped the aftermarket replacement blades. Removing the deck and replacing the deck's drive belt does not require jacking up the mower. If you are reasonably nimble, you can actually do it straight on the ground, just like I did. For more information on my books, blogs, and nearly 900 videos, go to my website, www.hoveysmith.com. To find out more about my business books, go to createyourownjobsecurity.com. To check on my novel, screenplay, and movie project, Until Death Do You Part, go to fatherofthegrooms.net. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye, and God bless.